In our last video, we started constructing our trailer frame, and we thought that we had the placement all figured out, but we've realised that we've overlooked a crucial component that needs addressing first. So in this episode, we're heading down a new rabbit hole and building custom independent airbag suspension that should make our future tiny home tow like a dream.
Can you guess what it is? I think you probably know from the thumbnail and stuff, but it's suspension building day. Well, I think suspension building days, I think it's going to take a while.
Weeks?
Yes, possibly. So these parts will hopefully turn into our suspension. I've been thinking about the suspension design for a really long time, and there's a few things with our trailer design that we want. We really like the idea of all the storage underneath, don't we? In the rails, make the most of that space. And that's kind of because we saw this trailer ages ago. We're driving down the motorway and I see this weird design trailer with like the wheels on the side, but then the chassis just went like all the way to the floor. Like the wheels were like hovering on the side.
Not axles.
Yeah. It was really weird. So when I looked it up, it was, I forgot what it's called, I'll put it here, but it's a type of axle that they use on low loaders and all the wheels can turn. And I was like, that's really cool. We can't do a rear steering trailer. I think logistically it's quite difficult. But yeah, we want our trailer to maximize that space for storage. But also, I don't want the wheels going up into the habitat. So I don't want wheel arches in the habitat because it messes with the opportunity to have slide outs. I mean, I'm sure there's ways around it, but this is just kind of the route we're going. The other thing is I want the suspension to be really good because our habitat is going to be composite panels. And if your chassis's got loads of flex in it, then those composite panels, the fiberglass and stuff over time, it's all just going to break. So our chassis is super stiff and we need really good suspension to make sure everything's held well. Does that make sense? So there's this really cool suspension manufacturer in Australia called Cruisemaster, and they make really cool off-road trailers. And I wanted that design. You have kind of like a swing arm with a spring and a dampener and stuff, but theirs is all under the trailer chassis. Ours, if we do that, we'll have the wheels, then the trailer chassis, and then the habitat, because we're not having wheel arches. So the challenge I kind of had was how do we make really good long travel adjustable suspension in the space we have between the chassis rail and the outside of the habitat. So that's kind of what inspired this. And the reason it's all flat pack suspension is because instead of making it out of like box section or off the shelf stuff where then I have to measure and mark, I can cut it all out exactly the same every single time and use things to like keep it all in place.
But why is it in so many pieces? Surely that would make it harder to get precise.
Yeah, there is a lot, but it's kind of like a puzzle. I've made it so it kind of all clicks together. So these are some tests that I've done to really dial in the tolerance on the CAD designs. For example, this is cut with 0.1 all the way around and it wiggles a little bit, but then if I do it on that one, there's very little play. And I've done the same for the tube that it's all going to rotate around, and then for our axle stub as well. The reason it's all in pieces is because I can cut it out accurately with the laser every single time, whereas if I had to measure box section, measure where to drill it, all that kind of, I mean, you'd be doing that, not me. But you know what I mean? There's lots of opportunities for error, whereas this, it's going to be the same every time. So for example, I can just put that on there, and it clicks into place. I can weld that seam in the corner. And then, you know, put the top bit on, and we've painted the insides. So all these faces are actually the inside of the box when it all comes together. I think a bit of CAD would be useful. Okay, fine. So this is the design I've been working on for many weeks. If I get the wheels out of the way, what you can see is essentially a single-sided swing arm with a shock absorber and an airbag for the suspension. It all pivots around some bushings that are attached to the chassis rails and a cross member. In here you can see where it all pivots. You've got this tube that comes off the arm and attaches to these bushings in pink. So it doesn't pivot around this tube that comes out of the arm, it actually pivots a little further back and is connected with these brackets. So there's two sets of bushings, one as close to the arm as possible and then the other a little further into the cross member. So that way it kind of triangulates like this. There's also this plate here that triangulates between the tube and the inside of the arm. So hopefully that plate and the fact that there's two sets of bushings, hopefully that'll provide enough strength and stiffness to prevent the wheel from being able to move laterally side to side.
We've been doing some long hours in the workshop lately, and by the time I get home, I really don't have the time or the energy to cook something healthy from scratch. But Huel, who are the sponsors of today's video, have been keeping us going through tea time with their ready-to-drink meals. And it's not just a snack, it's a full balanced meal. Each bottle gives you a mix of protein, carbs and fats, plus 26 vitamins and minerals. Huel Light comes in at just 190 calories and tastes exactly like a milkshake. And Huel Black has a whopping 35 grams of protein, which is pretty useful when we've been lugging around steel all day. You already know how much I love the hot and savoury pots, especially the hoisin duck flavour, but we've got ourselves on the meal subscription and we both keep a reusable pot in the workshop. Add hot water and in 5 minutes we've got a proper hot meal ready to go, just in case the day completely runs away from us. If you want to give Huel a try, you can get £10 off with our code ROG10.
Link's in the description. So yeah, I'm just going to tack it all up for now and do a good proof of concept, hopefully. And then if it's all good, weld it all up and make 3 more.
You got this.
Yeah. Let's try and put this thing together. So this is our bottom. Then we can use magnets to kind of hold it all roughly in place. And position, put a magnet in place. Okay. So that should slide down into here and just click into place. See how these tabs kind of hold it all in? And then all I'll have to do is run a big old bead down in this nice V. That should hold it all together.
What a contraption.
Yeah. It took a little while, didn't it, to figure out a best way to put it all together and clamp it up and stuff, but it's gone together really well.
It's really square.
It's really square. Because the tricky thing was, it was like parallelogramming. This is the tube that will go through the chassis and attach to the, I suppose the hinge, the pivot point, I don't really know what you'd call it, but
it's scaffolding tube.
It's scaffolding at the moment. That was the plan, because we've got loads of it and it's pretty strong, but used scaffolding, and I think scaffolding tube in general is quite inconsistent. I was using 1 or 2 pieces when I was doing all the tolerance tests and the measurements, and I've gone to put another one in and it's nowhere near.
They're also not very straight.
No, that was the other thing. It's like, why is it going off at an angle? And this needs to be really perpendicular. If it's not, then our wheel's going to be like this or like this.
It's critical.
It is very critical. So you might have to buy some really high quality cold rolled.
Is it the cold rolled stuff that's good or the hot rolled stuff?
The hot rolled has a seam down the middle. The cold rolled doesn't have a weld down the middle, and it's usually thicker wall and you can get it a bit stronger and stuff.
Can you do the bolt test?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
That is a good fit. Do you see how the tab and slots help hold it all together? And stuff like this, like we could put that bolt in there and use that as a reference to keep everything where it needs to be. So there's lots of things like that in the design, because I've done stuff before where I've designed it in CAD and then gone to make it in real life, and it's like impossible to make because you can't get to places. So I've had to design this piece by piece. I'm really pleased with that. That's cool. And then the airbag will kind of go on here like that.
Can you see it yet?
What do you think?
I think it's really good. I want to see it without the clamps.
Yeah, me too. Let's tack it up, shall we?
You've changed your headgear.
Yes, I have. So we were having an issue. I intended on laser welding everything. So yeah, this is one of the caveats of using the laser welder. While it's really fast to weld, it's quite cumbersome, and in amongst all these clamps, I can't really get in, and you have to hold the gun in a certain way. If you weld straight down, you run the risk of the laser bouncing right back up and destroying the lenses that are inside. A bit annoying, but because both my MIGs are broken, I have a TIG, and I'm going to have a go at just doing some tacks with the TIG. And then once it's all tacked together, I think we'll laser weld all the seams because it's super quick. All right, let's give it a go. The fact that this bolt still moves in and out
It's a good sign.
shows that there's no warpage.
Whoa.
Suspension, suspension! The tacking went quite well, I think, with the TIG. But yeah, it'll go like that. Hang on, let me put the bag on. And then that square there, that's where the axle's gonna go.
So we've come back to TrailerTek to pick up our stub axles, and this is where we got our wheels from as well. I just want to give a massive thank you and shout out to TrailerTek because they were really, really helpful, and Pete definitely pestered them a little bit with loads of questions, but they were more than happy to help, and we're definitely going to be coming back because they've got so much stuff. They've got everything you need to do with trailers, and if you need anything for your own trailer, check them out.
Filming my wonderful design. We need to make something that can hold our chassis rails at the correct height off the ground so we can offer up our axles and stuff.
So what's that?
That's a highly advanced chassis rail holding device.
Is it made from wood?
Yeah, we got leftover CLS from the old shed, so we're going to use that. I think they should do their job, huh? Pretty sturdy. Now the chassis is up off the floor, we can put the wheels in place, mock up where the suspensions are going to go, tack everything in place roughly, and just make sure it's all going to work and that it looks good. That's the plan. I think that some of these diagonals might be in the way, and we might have to remove one and then stiffen it back up in that area after the suspension's in, but we will see.
I scratched a line.
That's where the suspension mount's going to go.
That was a top tip from our commenters.
Oh yeah, God, we had so many comments about how to mark metal. a scribe is a thing. I had no idea what it was. And chalk, like the special
French chalk.
French chalk, and blue ink. And then you scribe the blue ink. So I've ordered some. Okay, I've just remembered there's a few other bits I need to get cut out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were done.
So we've got the swinging arm, I suppose, or the suspension arm, all figured out, well, pretty much. And the next thing we had to do was figure out exactly where the wheels were going to go, because then we can kind of work from that and know where this cross member is going to go, because that's what is going to help support all the suspension. So yeah, we've got the arm, but we haven't got the bits that connect the suspension to the chassis. I think those bits are probably quite important, aren't they?
Yeah, just a bit.
A little bit important. So this is where the rear of the wheel is going to go. Not too bad. Bit of an overhang, but I don't think it's that severe, really. Okay. So this cross member will go there, and then this large plate.
Oh, that is large.
Yeah, this is what's going to go kind of in the chassis rail, and it's got all these bolting holes. I thought it'd be pretty cool if we ever needed more or less ground clearance, we could swap where the suspension bolts into. So I don't know if we'll ever need it, but I thought it'd be quite useful just in case. And it looks like one of the zigzags is in the way, so I'm just going to move this out over here just for now. So this plate will go into here like that. A big chunky plate that attaches to the main frame and the cross member. So that will help stiffen up the cross member where it attaches as well. And the suspension. I think the issue is with my design is that there's very little support side to side. So we've got this arm that's going to be attached to the trailer, right? And it's very well supported up and down. But forces that want to twist the wheel in and out like that, if it was only attached to one point on the chassis, like here, you'd only have this little support here.
Yeah.
So that's why the plates attach onto the cross member, because now it's supported here and further back here with two bushings. So now we have this very large triangle that's supported into a really structural part of the chassis. So it's going to be very hard to make that twist. I haven't got a shock absorber yet, but that's where it will go in there. Yeah, okay. I think we'll just make it up. Should we just make it and see how it goes?
Uh-huh.
These are the mounting parts. I'm just going to tack it all together because I have a feeling I'm probably going to have to change some things. So let's just get a wheel on. Make sure nothing looks too crazy. And we'll go from there. So I'm just going to tack these bits together. But it makes stuff so easy doing this tab and slot. Especially when you get the tolerances in, because, like, dialed in. Because that just goes in there. Put a magnet on it. And it's just good to go. And now I can just tack, and then carry on.
You're just going to do one side for now. You're not going to worry about the...
Yeah, so in the CAD you saw that this plate had two big bushings on it. For now, I've just made these temporary lugs with a 16mm bolt in. And that's what's going to hold the suspension all in place. And then once it's all good, I just got two little tacks to grind out. CNC. Just doing stuff in CAD. It really takes away a lot of the skill that you need to have. So essentially this is where the suspension connects to, and then this big plate, that's what attaches to the chassis. Here would be some big bushings. It won't be a bolt, well, it will be a bolt like this, but there'll be bushings inside and stuff. And then yeah, if we need to, we can always raise and lower this.
I can't believe how quick that was.
What?
Putting that together.
It's so easy once it's all cut, and once you've done the hard work and you've designed it all in CAD. Is it hard work? Kind of.
You did spend many days.
Yeah, it was. Once you've put the time in the CAD, the fabrication's so much faster. I can't do it the other way around. I have to draw it all out. I just can't plan that far ahead and come up with this stuff off the fly. I don't have the experience. I don't know how tightly I've toleranced these bolts. Oh no. Oh yeah, that's a good fit. Yeah. Cool. Kind of half of it made. Well, prototyped. I see some issues, like I thought earlier.
Oh.
It's in the way. So we'll probably cut this off, and then once the suspension's built, we'll figure out another way of supporting this so that there's not a big space. And also I think that this one on the cross member here might get in the way of these bolts. So, I mean, we have to cut the cross members a bit shorter anyway, so...
To allow for the suspension?
Yeah. Yeah, because the suspension... This is the issue, right? Ideally, I would have designed the entire trailer at the very beginning, all in CAD, and then we started building it. But until you actually start making stuff in real life, you just don't really know how it's going to pan out, and it would take probably months for me to design everything just to come to it, and it'd be like, oh, actually, I'll change my mind.
Yeah, we just want to get started.
Yeah. So this has got to go, and that's got to go. Last night I found something on eBay and got a little bit carried away, and now we're driving to Watford to pick up a tool that I have always wanted ever since I was a little kid, and I'm very, very excited. They're just putting it onto a forklift and going to try and get it in the van. Hopefully they can get it from the long ways to get it in. But it's a pretty cool place, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got lots of cool
Lots
toys.
of skips.
Lots of steel. Lots of very big chunky bits of steel. Look at the size of the bandsaw.
We can't fit that in the workshop.
It's got buttons.
Don't.
CNC plasma table. Look at the steel they're cutting. That's very cool. These guys tried the catering trolley hack. It didn't quite work. You got to do the our patented trolley beefing up method, haven't you? Oh, something happened.
Oh.
There was a loud bang. The pallet, they just put, it's quite heavy, they just put it on the pallet and it just broke.
Oh dear.
I just had a look in the drawer, and the drawer and cupboard's full of tools and stuff as well.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently there's a whole pallet of accessories and other components that they don't know what it's for, but it all comes with the lathe. So I don't know what extra's coming, but there's extra bits.
So excited.
Huh? What? No, I'm very serious. This is proper. Good job, good job. I have a lathe.
Congratulations.
That was an awesome trip. That was a lot of fun. A really cool place. They've been going since 1901 and they've been there since 1920 or something.
In that building.
Yeah, and the city's just built around them and the place is just crumbling in and like they've just got all these cool toys and yeah, really cool day. But yeah, I'm probably more excited than a man should be about this. I've been looking forward to, well actually I wasn't ever sure if I would really ever have one. But I've always wanted one. It's really cool. This one is kind of special.
It's a Colchester student.
It is a Colchester student.
They used to be in schools, right?
Yeah, in colleges and stuff. They're like a bit smaller, which is good for us because we don't need anything massive. But this one, not this exact one, but this exact model is the one my dad had when I was growing up as a kid. So I've watched my dad use this lathe like since I was like 7. So I have very fond memories of this. So it's really cool that I get to also use one because I was never allowed. I was too young. It was dangerous.
And you also kind of know how it works.
Kind of.
It has a lot of things.
But Dad knows exactly how it works, so I can just ask him.
It's got a lot of things. They're all so smooth.
They are.
It's been really well looked after, hasn't it?
Yeah, it used to belong to an engineer, so it's been very well looked after. And it has all kinds of accessories and add-on bits and stuff. I don't really know what it all does. I also don't know if it works. I mean, they ran it because they have 3-phase. We don't have 3-phase here, but one of the things on that pallet of stuff was an inverter. So I'm going to see if that's what they used to use to power it. Because this has a big old 3-phase motor from, I think, like the 60s.
Before you try and see if it works, do you want to explain to the people why you've got it?
Oh, why we need it. It wasn't just because I found it on eBay and really wanted it. I'm going to use it to make all like the bushings and stuff like that.
What are they, like plastic?
Yeah, so we're going to make polyurethane bushings. I was going to go for bronze ones, but the bronze is really expensive. So I'm going to use polyurethane. That's what a lot of suspension components are, like the bushings. A lot of them are polyurethane. This is the material we're going to use for the bushings. It was advertised as suspension bushing material. So it's a hard polyurethane plastic. Look at all the things. This comes with a tool changer and this thing. Dad said it's like a quick tool changer thing. They all go in there and then you can kind of old-fashioned automating the process a little bit. And then there's all stuff in the drawers, all kinds of things. I don't know what any of it is. And in here there's more stuff, attachments, and then there's like a secret compartment in here. And I think that's where the coolant goes. And it has a coolant pump and it pumps coolant onto the piece. You know, like a cutting oil sort of thing.
Is that why it's really greasy?
Yeah,
all in
it's
this?
filthy. You're going to have such a good time cleaning it. Everything seems to be working, like all these many knobs, they all move smoothly. I don't know what gear I just put it in. This is a thing that it came with. So this converts 240 volts into 3-phase 400 volts. It's very old.
Yes.
So we'll see if it works. It's making quite a strange sound already. So let's see. So I know that this red lever is the on, and you just lift it up.
Oh, is it all plugged in already?
Yeah, it's ready to go.
Oh. Oh. That's not on.
Why does it make a very weird sound? It's like, rah! It sounds very angry. This might not be able to do it. So there is a button on here that when you push... Okay.
Oh.
That doesn't sound too great either, does it? When you push this button down, it uses a bigger bank of capacitors, and then that'll give the motor a bit more oomph to start. If I hold the switch down, can you flip the lever up? Ready?
No.
You just got to pull it straight up. Ready?
Okay.
Hey!
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it's been a minute and I've been exploring all the things, and we can't get the lathe to run any higher than the lowest speed, and that's because our inverter starter box thingy just hasn't got the power the motor needs to get going at a higher speed. Look at this motor, it's massive. I had concerns that this might happen, so I also got this, which is called a VFD, and it lets you control three-phase motors from 240 volts. But I kind of didn't want to use it, but it might be the only way for now.
Because we haven't got the three-phase hooked up.
Yeah, what I think might be good is if we just got three-phase installed in the workshop. But for now, I'm going to wire the motor up to this directly and we'll see what happens. So I've got the VFD wired in. If you don't know what a VFD is, it basically controls the frequency of a motor so you can speed it up and slow it down. I think it's alright. Should we just turn it on and see what happens? So if I push run, it should start spinning.
Let me reverse. I don't like these sorts of things.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I want to get out of setup mode and into go mode, please. Hang on. Unplug it. How is it still on? Okay, fine. I'll read the manual. Okay, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, what's happened?
It's just turned itself off.
Oh dear.
We'll be right back. I know what I did. This lead that I just quickly put together, it's only got a 3 amp fuse in it. So it went pop because this is like 2.2 kilowatts. But now we know, so we're making progress. We're in the right direction. And it did move.
It did.
It did move.
I like wiring.
Okay, Haley's whipped us up a nice new cable. Put that in there. It's powered back up. We didn't blow anything up.
Yet.
It doesn't like it very much, does it?
No.
Let's just try and crank it and see what happens.
Why would you do that? No, he's like, don't crank me.
Okay, so I can change the speed. Let's see if we can go a bit faster. That way. It can't do it. This motor is a 400 volt motor. I don't want to go into much about it because I don't really know what I'm talking about. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. So the way I wired it meant that it just didn't have the oomph and couldn't get up to speed. So the good thing is we're going to get 3-phase for the workshop. I just don't know when.
Yeah, we need to find someone that can do it.
Okay. There's plenty to get on with though.
That's true. We'll come back to bushings.
My first lathe.
Nice lathe.
It's going to be great. All that hard work undone. No, it's only 2. pretty cool. Okay, tacked. Quite enjoying tigging.
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 TIG welding?
Can you not use...
It's tigging now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite relaxing. Cool. Right, I have some last few bits to put on to the arm.
Oh, okay.
That will then allow us to stick the two together, okay?
Okay.
One moment. Okay, the final bits are on. So, we've got, whoa! So I've just added this bit on, and that's to strengthen what I was talking about earlier, it moving laterally, side to side. So, and also it looks kind of funky, but in doing that, I've made this hole here, which is where the bushings will go through, but for now we've got a temporary bolt. What we need, right, is for this pivot point, the center of this circle, and the center of the axle square to be perfectly in a line. If they're not, then what would happen, instead of the suspension pivoting up like this around a point here, it would go instead, if it wasn't all in line. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But, so what I've done, I've used slots and tabs in the side with this stiffening piece and then this first lug that holds the first bushing in place. So we know that the bushing is going to be, or the center of the bushing is going to be exactly in line. And I've used this tube inside whilst welding it all. So I know that everything is going to be exactly where it needs to be, and the pivot point is going to be exactly in the right line, or like plane. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. This is heavy. Yeah. Should we offer it up?
Whoa, have you seen the amount of clearance there?
Yeah, I designed it. So you got to imagine that in there instead is a heavy-duty polyurethane bushing, not just a single bolt. We've kind of made, I would say, an improved version of the all-in-one independent suspension that you get for a caravan. You know, where it's just axle with a little arm with a wheel on it. I'll show a photo.
And what, with the rubber inside?
Yeah, because that's just a chunk of rubber inside a bit of tube. Down a bit. Up a bit. Yeah. That's cool.
So once there's the second kind of mounting bracket here and the bushes and everything, this won't be able to do the side-to-side thing that it's trying to do at the moment.
Yeah, it'll hold it hopefully perfectly perpendicular to the chassis. Should we stick an axle in?
Yeah.
Okay.
How?
So these are our special axles that were made just for us. They were so fresh they still had wet paint on them when we got them.
Can you lower it down? I wonder if it'll be easier.
Yeah, you just like at a really funky angle to it at the moment.
I am aware of the funky angle. I'm trying to pick it up.
Oh, it fits. Just straight in. You're good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. That's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's see where the airbag lines up. Oh, it's happening. Okay.
Cool. It's going to be heavy now.
Oh, wow. These axles are really heavy duty, aren't they? Okay.
A touch lower. Okay, up a bit. I don't think they line up. Oh, hang on.
Well, you can...
Oh, here we go.
Cool, you had me worried then. Okay, do you want to put some nuts on? I can't wait to see what this looks like. Oh, I did that one the wrong way around.
Oh, have I done them all backwards?
I think you have, yeah. Yes.
Oh, I see. That's.
They're like Moose's ones.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about washers, because I thought, well, normally they're like a cone. Didn't realise I put them on. Whoopsie. Backwards. Yeah, that looks more normal.
I haven't looked.
Have a look.
Whoa! That looks so cool. So I think we need to rotate the axle, because if you look in here, where the brake cables come out, I'm not sure if they have to come out the top. See, there's this funny little nubbin. That's where the brake cables come out, but at the moment they're fouling on the airbag. So if we could rotate the axle so this was over here instead, or on the other side, I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know if they have to be on the top. I'll look into that. So we might have to move the airbag out of the way or something. This is why we do a mock-up first. I've learnt that lesson.
So is there another one behind that or in front of it?
No, this is the rear one.
Uh-huh.
So there'll be another one. Hang on, I'll get the wheel. And this is how high the chassis is going to be as well. So we'll have around a foot of ground clearance, but it could be lowered down to half that with the airbag. So we can run much lower if we need to, or we can run an extra 4 inches higher if we want to as well. So this is going to go, like a few of you mentioned, there's a good gap that you should try and aim for, and it's about 4 inches or 100 mil, so roughly like that. That's where it's going to go.
Well done.
That's cool. I wish I could take all the credit, but my dad helped a lot. This is what happens. I have a crazy idea, and then I draw up some stuff, and then I show it to my dad, and he's a proper engineer, and he's like, this won't work, this won't work, this won't work. And over a few iterations and some fun Zoom calls, this is where we came to. So we need to make support for the top of the airbag that's going to attach to the chassis.
Oh, you already made it.
Yeah, kind of. It's just not really to the right size, but it'll be something like that, but probably a bit beefier. When the airbag's inflated, it'll kind of be something like that. And again, I want to have this bracket be able to move up and down, have different bolting points the same as that bit. So if in the future we realise that we want to go to bigger wheels, which a few of you recommended, or if we want less ground clearance, maybe if we are using a different vehicle or we want to get lower for whatever reason, then we got options. Yeah.
And then there's going to be the shock absorber.
Yes, a little mini shock absorber. I do have one. I think it might be a bit big. It was left over from Moose. So, well, like that. This is too big, but you can imagine that'll be in there, something like that, but much smaller. Not as long. So there'll be a shock absorber in there as well. And then a really cool paint job.
Paint job?
Yeah, we got to paint them like a wild colour.
Oh,
see all these
like
cool
lime green.
like off-road trailer suspension. They're all like powder coated with bright colours. I think we should do the same. This tube won't come out this far either. It'll kind of be chopped off to about here. So it'll be something like that.
And it probably won't be scaffolding.
So I'm going to sort that in a bit. I've got some other bits to design, but first something has arrived and I can't wait any longer. I have to show you.
Oh, it likes to cut into your fingers.
Can you tell what it is? Do you think we're going to be able to stand this up?
Which way does it stand up?
The other way. Like this is the bottom.
Oh, yeah. It won't stay up on its end.
That's not the height. No, this is the height.
It's too tall then.
Let's just flip it over and see what happens. I'm not sure. You have no idea what we're even talking about, do you? This is the neck. It's
the nose.
Yeah,
it is a neck.
So I've been saying that the front, the coupling and stuff has changed from our previous designs, where we did have a fifth wheel coupling, like a standard fifth wheel coupling for a lorry, essentially. But we've switched over to this, and instead of a standard fifth wheel coupling, it uses something else. It's kind of like the gooseneck designs that you see in America, that kind of thing. Let's see if we can put it up, and I'll show you, because it's really, really cool. And it's going to make the trailer like a lot more versatile as well.
There are a few parts on the trailer design that have to be type approved, and this is one of them.
Do you want to explain what type approval is real quick? Because it's something that gets commented about a lot, and I think a bit of clarity would be good.
Type approval is something that manufacturers go through when they create parts for vehicles and trailers that is like a certification to say that they are safe and legal for the use that they apply for. Yeah. So this is approved for use with a trailer.
Yeah, it's kind of like CE stamp. It's that kind of thing. Yeah, kind of. So things like brakes, lights, underrun crash bumpers, tow hitches, that kind of stuff. That's why we couldn't make our own braking system for the trailers, even though I wanted to just use an axle off of a van or something similar to Moose's axle. We weren't allowed because it needs to get type approval. And that's a very, very expensive thing to do. Yeah.
Suspension, though, is something that doesn't need type approval.
As far as I know, yes.
All right, let's try this one.
How about I cut to some CAD drawings and some photos to show you what this bit actually does. Okay. I'm back. So this is the trailer that I've been designing, and here is the neck that we've just been putting together. I went off some drawings, and by the looks of things, it's pretty accurate. Here's some other trailers that also have this neck and coupling design. You can see it's kind of like the American gooseneck style. This is the coupling. This is the part that Haley was talking about that needed type approval. And as you can see, it's a little bit different, but we're going to talk about that and show you ours in a bit. So hopefully I did a good job of explaining in the CAD exactly what this is and where it's going to go and stuff.
If you can imagine like a American fifth wheel trailer, they would have like a pin box, and you'd see almost like this part, wouldn't you? But it wouldn't have this kind of structure inside. I think that's a reason why a lot of the pin boxes break off.
Yeah, you get a lot of issues with fifth wheels where the nose section delaminates and breaks away from the rest of the trailer because all the forces are in the kind of the structure of the habitat.
Yeah, but this is all going to be like a skeleton of our tiny home. And the bedroom, or half of the bedroom, the bed, is going to be in this part.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to support it. That's just for the trailer chassis. It's all separate. So then the forces that are applied to this neck section, they don't get transferred into the habitat. So I got to figure out how to mount all of this up to something over there.
It's going to be like...
So we got to get Moose out of the way because we don't have enough size in the workshop to have the trailer with the neck on. Oh, what's that?
It's our ball coupling. So this goes on the end of the neck. And then this is what receives it. And it can pivot all around. So rather than the fifth wheel coupling, where you only really get a little bit of this, you don't have any side to side, this can move around in all angles. So it takes a lot of the tension away from the frame of the truck and of the tiny home. And that's much better if the road that you're travelling on is uneven, because it has lots of space to move around.
This piece is the receiver for that ball joint. And there's loads of holes for adjustability, so we can really dial it in. And then, the ball joint screws in under there. God, there is a lot to do.
In the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.